Hi, I'm Sherry from Homeschooling on a Wing and a Prayer blog. Okay, today I'm going to be showing you the economics and personal finance program that I'm going to be doing with my teenage son. Now, don't click off if you don't have teenagers yet because there's a couple things in here that you could definitely use with the younger set. And if you like to plan ahead and think about things, well, this is a possibility for you. All right, I do make sure that all of my children do cover some form of economics and government before I will graduate them. His final year will do government, so I'm not going to show that now. I have showcased how I put together like a little mini binder that will have all of his assignments in it. And here it is, completely undone, except for a few of the things that I know he needs to read as a part of his program. When I was going through my stuff, I did find the Money Matters unit for my daughter, so I will take this and revamp it for my son, and then I will put it in his schedule book here. Just thought I would show you that. Okay, so what are we going to be using? Our main program is going to be the economics course by Master Books. I have already discussed this intro to the economics, money, history, and fiscal faith. We will not be using the Bankruptcy of Our Nation that I am aware of. I did check it out from the library and I felt like it's just too much. I'm trying to keep it informative but not over the top. My son has no desire to get into economics and that kind of area of life, so I just want to give him a good overview of it. We will be using the MoneyWise DVD, sorry. This, how many is there's, whoopsie, looks like there's 3 DVDs here. And what they do is follow the program that is listed in here, and I'll show you that in a second. And then they will learn 14 lessons. I found this on eBay, I believe, for only like 15 bucks. Otherwise, it can be kind of spendy. So keep in mind, look at different resources for that. I think anybody and everybody should go ahead and look at something like this. I'm assuming it probably follows the lines of the Dave Ramsey program. So let me get this aside and make sure you can see that. All right, so with the master books, they do have this as your teacher guide. As you can see, it says 10th to 12th grade. It's a 1 year and it's a half a credit. I believe it's only a half a credit because it's not that strenuous. I will add other things because I'm dropping this that will still make it a half a credit, and then the other half credit for the child would be government. Now, this will closely correlate with the math program I'll show you in a second. This is just going to go in a little bit more in depth. And with master books, you can print as many pages as you need for your own family or small classroom. It goes into discussing, this is a 36-week course, that's why they said it takes a year. You will have quizzes, tests, and a final exam. I don't get too crazy on the quizzes and tests, but because I need grade material, I will have him do that. It will give you the course description, a daily schedule, suggestion, worksheets, quizzes, tests, and answer keys in this book. It also tells you the other things that you might need to know. So this is what they provide for you. Like a really nice layout, and what I do is I just make a copy of it and then I put this in my schedule book and I will put it in his as well, and then he can just check off as we go. Or maybe I won't even do that for him. I might just go ahead. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do a checklist because this is too much for him to look at, and I'll just tell him what he needs to be doing. I keep this in my schedule book so I know where I'm going and I don't have to constantly grab all the teacher's guides. It's very cumbersome, and I only keep a couple pages at a time, again, to keep the thickness down. So it tells you what to do, and then it will tell you if there's a quiz coming up and all of that. And then there's another section here, as you can see, and then it gets into these introductions and then the worksheets. I do copy these off, and I will give them to my student, and then I will staple them together in a packet for him, and then that way he'll know which ones to study for the quiz, because it's very wordy and bulky. I've been finding a lot of the master books tend to be a little overwhelming for him with all that material, and then I will go in and will highlight the things that I know that the quiz is going to be asking him, which, you know, some people may think that's crazy, but I know a lot of times in college the professors will even say, I want you to cover this, make sure you study that, and they'll kind of narrow it down for you because there's so much material, and I think that's only fair expectation. So I help him out a little bit. He needs to learn how to study, and we're working on that. I still have 2 years to really work with him and go from there. Totally another video, but I just thought I'd share. So my goal between now and the start of school is at least get the first, 18 lesson sheets copied and in a book for me to grab as we need. Okay, so main economics. All right, now for my other kids, I did require that they read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. This is by, Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, I'm terrible at people's names. Just go with the flow, peeps. This is an older version, but it doesn't matter. It still says the same thing. I think it's a very interesting read. I think everybody should read this. All right, the second part of the program, and here, by the way, let me show you this. I'll do a separate one on this. We are going to be doing the consumer mathematics. This is by Becca. It's a little outdated. I've mentioned that before, but we'll kind of update it and correlate it with what I'm going to show you in just a second. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the Bluestocking guides are really neat and helpful. I have one that's on government and things like that. I'll showcase that in another video down the road when we get to that. So I purchased these quite a long time ago. I believe this is like a 2003-04 guide. I'm sure they've updated it since. But I will use this as the second part of the economics course. And the nice thing in here is you can go through here, and I like that it will give you how to use the guide. I really like that they suggest a time frame for study, and they tell you not to like freak out. Gotta love that. Everything you might need to know. It gives you helpful hints on grading, gives you suggestions for further reading, and then this, and then here, the student and you can read through this, and then the main book that goes with it is Whatever Happened to Penny Candy by Richard Maybury, and then it just walks you through. So the student would read, and then there's questions and things to answer. There are tests and quizzes in here as well. Not very many, which is great. So the answer keys are in here as well. There's a final exam, there's a project, things like that. So again, the student would be required to read certain things in here, and then they can discuss it with you and do the work. So I will have to type up something here that goes alongside of the money DVD that we'll be doing as well. And I will add in assignments for the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now the final thing that I will add into this, like I said, is going to correlate with the consumer math. That's why I save it. This is not like a super thought-provoking math program, but I think it's one of the best ones for every student to take because it is rather shocking to know how many people cannot maintain their personal finances. I think that should be taught to every child, and I think we would avoid a lot of situations. I mean, my husband and I didn't have that either, and so we kind of had to take the hard road, which many of us had to, and age and time, of course, has helped us become much more consumer and debt conscious. Anyway, so this will correlate. So when I'm pulling together the work assignments for this, I'll kind of look at and just kind of put them in the same time frame that these chapters are addressing it. All right. I wanted to share this. This is pretty much for the younger kids. I obviously had this from an earlier time frame, but it's a really nice little book. It's got great graphics. It's by Larry Burkett's All About Money, and it has really cute little illustrations, and it kind of goes into some fun things here. And I'll just have my son read through this, just like, here, read this 2-page thing, just, for giggles, and it is interesting. So definitely a good one for the younger kids. And then I'm going to go ahead. They also have the Money Matters for Teens for ages 11 to 14. I believe they may even have it for younger. So at the time I purchased these, I had kids in 2 different levels. That's why I have them both. Now, because he is 16, we will be using this one, the 15 to 18 edition. And this ties in to the math that we're doing pretty much almost the same. what year is this? This is a 98, so I am sure that they have updated this since then. But still, you know what? Some of the stuff just doesn't change, just how it's done. So like obviously now we do more online banking and stuff, but you should still know how to write an actual check and manage it on paper, because sometimes you can't always access that and things like that. It's good to know. So again, I will tie in any of the things that I feel like we need a little more information on in with his math. This is not going to be a main, this is just going to be an enhancement to our work. And then I'll have him just kind of go through the things I want him to do. There's little worksheets and things like that that you can do in here as well. We'll just take it as we go, and that'll just be a really nice tie-in. So look for the Money Matters for Teen workbooks. Those are very nice. Again, I know there's like the Dave Ramsey's and all those kind of things now, so look around. There's plenty out there, but please do not neglect that area. You know, that way you're not trying to bail your kids out when they're 40 and you are living on retirement funds. Yes. So again, the Money-Wise, using the Master Books and the Bluestocking Press economics program. And that's what we have going. And then once I get that all worked out, I will come back and show you how I pull it into his little booklet here. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I will list a few of these things if I can find them for you to go check them out. And until next time, folks, take care.